Over 1 million signatures have been obtained on a demand I launched seeking police accountability across the nation. It wasn't easy, but came by habitually demanding nationwide action was needed. Throughout the years, my position remains unchanged. So to bring clarity on actually what that is, I'm sharing a video in which the words spoken then can be heard today.
Let's just start talking about Danette, what you've been doing with getting these signatures and why. You know, for people that don't know who you are, what brought you into this fight? And what has been motivating you? Because when I met you, you was fire. I was like, wow, she's giving fire on the mic.
And I always tell her on Facebook, she like the Energizer Bunny. She just keep going and going.
No, but that's great because we really need people that's on the grassroots level, really continuing to push the envelope and educating people on what's going on. So for people that don't know who you are, for people, especially people in Westchester, explain what happened to you in your life to make you move forward and to bring you to this point in your life today.
Well, I've always been the type of person to look out for the underdog and fight for people's rights.
Mm-hmm.
But in October of 2004, I lost my son at the hands of NYPD, and that just opened up a whole new area of injustice for me. And from that time to this, I've been fighting and marching and holding rallies and protests and demand for justice on behalf of other families. And that entire time frame has led me to the conclusion that the only way that we can get anything resembling justice is that we will have to have a national cry demanding it. There's been clear cases across the year that show blatant disregard for the law and those in authorities who are unwilling to punish police for the murders and brutalizations that they've committed. There's been several amendments, reforms, and programs and things instituted in order to fight against police brutality and hold police accountable, and none of them have succeeded. So I came to the conclusion that it's ridiculous for us to continue going round and round in circles doing the same thing and getting no justice, but continue on doing the same thing. The situation now in the United States is that we're literally in a state of emergency behind it.
Right.
There's good reason to come out and call it what it is, which is a declaration of war against people of color in particular. Because while we have these police flooded in our community in the name of protecting and serving, they're killing us, falsely arresting us, brutalizing us, and no one is willing to hold them accountable. And when I say no one, I'm talking about politicians
Right.
and those who we were led to believe were our civil rights organizers and activists. They come out and they speak on it, yes, but they don't say what needs to be said. They sugarcoat it, glaze
That's
over
right.
it, and keep people believing that something is being done and that whatever it is that's being done is effective, and it has not been effective. So I'm of the position that we need to rise up in a national demand for action and hold this country accountable for the claims that it has made concerning liberty and justice. Our people have been put to sleep or very submissive because they believe in those claims. They believe that somebody somewhere other than them is going to handle and take care of the problem. That's not true. And for this government to yet, in this day and time, with carte blanche murders, brutalizations, outright assassinations, to even open up his mouth with a claim of having liberty and justice just begs to be called into question. So that's what I hope to do with this petition. I initiated the petition to use it as a tool to hopefully galvanize people in a national demand for action.
Right. That's great. That's great. And what has been the response, of people on the street?
Well, for the most part, in the beginning, progress was very, very slow. And I can understand it, because when you talk about police murders and brutalizations, and then you come out and say, sign this piece of paper so we can send it to the government, people look at you like you must have lost your mind. Mm-hmm. And I can understand that, because the law has been disregarded, so why should they think that a piece of paper is going to make any difference? But it goes back to the claims that's being made concerning this country. It's claims that we have rights. It's claims that the majority rules. And if the majority has signified in writing on a piece of paper and signed their name to it, demanding this government to take action against his brutalizations and murders, then they have an obligation to do it.
That's right. All right, we go to a caller. Welcome, caller, to the People Before Politics radio show. State your name and where you're from.
Caller.
Keep it moving.
All right. Well, thank you, caller. We'll go back now. When I'm out with you, what is your response from other mothers? Now, you're a mother. See, and I think a lot of times, they really don't get to talk. They, other than the mothers that are high profile, mm-hmm. They really don't get to really hear from mothers that lost their children to police criminality, and many places when I'm with you, and I see you with the other mothers, and these are the mothers that go underneath the radar, so to speak, that people don't talk about. Mm-hmm. What is the attitude and what is the spirit with those mothers that lost their children to situations, but they go unknown? Basically.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's another reason why I initiated this petition, because it became clear to me that there were hundreds and hundreds of cases that didn't even hit the media. People are brutalized and murdered at the hands of police all day long, but not everybody has the ability to have their tragedy highlighted in the media. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to tell you, this fight for justice has turned into a Hollywood rock show almost, because if mm-hmm. you don't have the ability to get Al Sharpton or somebody famous highlight your tragedy, the public will not know about it. And if the public does not know about it, you cannot get support in your demand for action. And if you cannot get support in the demand for action, the police will do exactly what they want to do about that murder, which is nothing. So this is the reason why people have marches and protests demanding justice, to bring the tragedy to the attention of the public. People think that that's not the way to get justice. It was never intended as a way to get justice. It's intended as a way to bring attention to a tragedy, so that the people, the public, could come in support of the demand for justice and put pressure on the authorities to do the right thing.
Right.
And I think, it's a crime and a shame that we actually live in a time that you have to jump all kinds of hoops just to get the authorities to do the right thing. They are allegedly the authorities. They have been trusted and vested with a certain amount of power and hopefully to do the right thing, but time and time again they don't do the right thing. You literally have to push them, force them, embarrass them, expose them into doing the right thing. So, it's becoming more blatantly clear that the claims that this country functions under in regards to rights, in regards to liberty and justice for all, are false. They're absolutely false. And I sincerely hope to bring national action to the forefront of the nation, because I would like to put pressure on the Department of Justice to show and prove.
That's right. That's right. And whatever we can do, Black Westchester, People Before Politics, Blacks in Law Enforcement, we're going to be right there standing with you.
Okay. Yeah, there's a shout out to Ken Bright. From Ken Bright to Danette and Taylon, and he said it's good to see and hear that you are in Westchester and that you crossed over the bridge.
All right.
Yes,
Five
Ken,
boroughs.
yes.
Shout out to my man Kent. That's my
Yes,
man.
hey,
That's my
Ken.
man Kent.
Yeah.
Now, quick, fast. We got,
Yeah,
we got two callers.
All right, caller, welcome to the People for Politics show. State your name, where you're from.
Hey, this is Brother Timothy Ford from Brooklyn.
Hey, Tim Ford, how you doing, my brother?
Peace, beloved. How you doing? And to the sister, Shanae, what's up?
Hey.
Black power to you.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well.
Good.
And
You
what's
know, I was listening to the show, you know, and it's like, it's funny, you know, like I always say on Facebook a lot of time, we always talk about the problem. We need to deal with the solution like the sister son that always do, is get in the street and show our face. You know, and I'm telling you, and I always tell brothers and sisters, if we come together as a coalition of groups, the police will think twice to deal or hurt one of us. Because we are the fourth united than we are divided. Sister came out there by herself, and you know, and it's wrong for her to have to go out there by herself. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us that goes out there by ourselves. We need to come together as a strong coalition and deal with this issue of police brutality. Like Malcolm said, let's come together for one cause. Just that cause. We can talk about all the other causes later. Let's deal with this one cause. As we deal with this one cause, we can accomplish this one cause. You know, this cause that we're dealing with right now is police brutality all across the country.
we have to do, and it will be pressure. Charles Barron used to be able to do that, right? But now the press don't come out for Charles Barron no more, right? Eric can get it, but he's Brooklyn Borough president, and his eye is on City Hall himself. So he's not going to, shake those leaves that like he used to do. You know, and I can say that. I've known Eric for over 25 years, personally. So, and Letitia James, like the brother said, you know, she's looking at City Hall. See, where were those same black elected officials that was standing on the steps of City Hall after Chief Banks resigned? Where was the same outrage when de Blasio hired Bratton?
That's right.
Where was it? See, that was what we saw was political posturing. Political posturing from our black politicians, because they should have had that press conference January 5th when they announced Bratton was going to be the commissioner. The black one should have called them on it right back then and there. And then when all this stuff unraveled, it would have made their stance even more powerful with the people. But now they come out after all this, and they really didn't even come out after Eric Garner. They really didn't. They really didn't do anything.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, Damon. A lot of those politicians were actually not so much as in support as the reappointment for Bratton as they were in support of the mayor.
Right.
Okay. A lot of those same city councilmen, they fought against stops and frisks, and they participated in the vote for the Community Safety Act for the new reforms against police brutality. But when the mayor decided to reappoint Commissioner Bratton, they were silent.
Yes, they were.
We were at City Hall, held a press conference there, and caught several city council members entering in the building and attempted to get them a position statement on the reappointment of Bratton, and they refused to say if they were for or against it. All they would say is, we support the mayor. Okay? So now there was a lot of press that came out when we held those press conferences against the reappointment of William Bratton and also in opposition to his broken window policy. Okay, what didn't come out was the people. Okay, there should have been a whole city block full of people to come out against the reappointment of Bratton and against the broken window policies, and that did not happen. Okay, so when you talk about politicians, you know, not holding press conference, they can get a press conference, but they don't want to come out on the wrong side.
But the people move the politicians.
Yes.
That's
so
right.
we have to, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I wish that we would stop even looking at politicians and look at there's individuals out there right now, like including us, that people who are out there on the forefront, you know, hold your own rally, hold your own press conference, and invite people to come out and make it known what's going on, because clearly there are certain things that people in power are not going to come out effectively and oppose, and the majority of those things are things that affect us and our community. So we have to see for self.
That's right, and you're 100% correct. Please, you go in my trunk. There's a podium, a speaker, a mic, video, and I'll put it up wherever I need to, and I'll get it in. And put it on YouTube and tweet it all over the place.
We went to other people's press conference and had to go run to the trunk
and get the podium because they didn't have no podium.
I remember the day Damon brought the podium. He brought his own podium, and I was in the house and he said, "Look at this, sis. Look at this." And he set it all up, and I'm just sitting at him. He said, "No, wait, hold on. Let me get the clip for the mic."
For the mic. Yeah,
and then he started. He was like, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm ready to go. Put it in the trunk.
We got to do that, you know, and we got to get into the point also is recording everything that we do, and begin to use social media to really
we always have to
really use it for what they're using it for in Egypt, you know, and you know, Egypt, they tore Egypt up through social media. They took down the government through social media. You know, but we sitting here dropping it like it's hot and all this other craziness on Instagram and Facebook and well, they don't do that a lot on LinkedIn. LinkedIn don't play, they don't play all that niggerish stuff.
Because a lot of people don't even know about LinkedIn.
Right, unless you in business, unless you can, right. You're right about that. But come on. That's what we need to use it for. If we can't use Facebook, I mean, everybody walking around with 2,000, 3,000 friends, you know, but we can't
get 2 of them to a press conference.
right. Or we can't get them all to say, you know what, we're gonna vote for so and so. Let's get so and so in. We don't even use that. We don't even use this medium for that purpose. You know, and I think we have to change the mindset of the people.
You know what's sad,
that's the main thing you just said.
The ones that do use it, everybody comes out against them.
Right.
You understand? Like, I mean, that's what Sam's doing right now, and there's been comments that, he's an agitator, and
because Sam's talking to a lot of people that got that's the nepotism of Mount Vernon.
Right.
No, but that's not just Mount Vernon. No, that's the black neighbor. A lot of times when one person is doing something, everybody else will just talk about it. Well, they don't really care.
So Murph just said that we need to start changing the mindset of individuals.
You got to change. You got to change the mindset and the hearts of the individual.
That's what Malcolm was talking about.
Because this one, I mean, police brutality is a big issue, but the main issue where all it stems from is oppression, systematic oppression,
right?
And the systematic oppression as far as our school systems, it's systematic oppression as far as housing, it's systematic oppression as far as the court system. So it's oppression. And when people are oppressed, they become downtrodden. They become feeling like there's nothing they can do about it. And sometimes you got to go out there amongst the people and get with the people and bring the people and show the people that this is what needs to be done to make a change. And another thing that we have a problem with in our communities is the disconnect between the young and the old.
That's
it's
right.
a big disconnect between the older regime as well as the newcomers coming up, the younger regime. And it's even a disconnect even in politics. It's a disconnect in our activists. You know, a lot of the old activists and the old civil rights leader don't want to hand the torch over to brothers that know what's going on now. It's just a different era. Yeah, you can coach. Yeah, coach me. Tell me what your mistakes was, so I don't make the same mistakes. But look, it's a different wave, and I can maybe reach out to more people because they're closer to my age, or I do understand what's going on out there in the street because I'm in the street. You're not in the street anymore. You're in City Hall. You have radio. You in radio stations on TV. I'm out there amongst the people. I'm hearing what the people are saying. I'm hearing what the people want. So that's one of our main issues too, man. We got to know when we have the great leaders. What great leaders do is they create other great leaders.
That's right.
That's what great leaders do.
That's right.
Good leaders just be a leader.
Round of applause for that, man. Round of applause.
It's just self-hatred. you got to start. It's got to be more love in our communities. We got to start building our communities with love. And when I say building with love, I'm talking about it's courage behind love. Because when you love your brother, you'll go out your way for your brother. When you love your brother, you'll find a way to create a job for your brother.
Right.
We have to start building up our own community. We got to start building our own infrastructure. We got to start, when we start doing those things, loving each other, building our own infrastructure, it'll bring the people, and then we can be just like the other communities, and we can vote amongst ourselves on who we gonna go and back as far as a politician or as far as somebody that's gonna get some things done.
I want Dana.
I don't get it. I don't. Maybe somebody here on the phone line and somebody can help me out. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I really don't get it when we talk about things that we should do for our community and how we should police our community and things that we don't have in our community.
And we don't do it.
I know it's not that we don't do it. I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, what community do we have? We don't have a community. We have a colonization, okay? And there, we are housed in certain locations within the city. Just because we are grouped together doesn't mean that we are a community, okay? If it was our community, there would be our schools, our stores, our hospitals, our things created for us and by us. So no, we don't have a community.
You absolutely correct, sister.
An important law here which can solve a lot of this, which you don't see. We need recall and referendum here. We get that here, and we can go to the polls. You get a mayor elected in, and then we don't. All right, we had enough of you. California has recall and referendum. You don't hear about all this nonsense going on because there's no fear.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? California, the LAPD is really crazy.
But you can remove. They do have recall and referendum in California and some other states, but I think we get
those cops from killing the people because they're still killing folks.
They sure are in California.
Especially in
I
Cali.
mean, maybe that was a bad example. But they have recall and referendum there in a few other states. I mean, that wasn't the best example.
See, we have yet to make any black concerned a campaign issue. Now, you think about that. Everything that was going on in Ferguson, everything was in the news and everything, and not one candidate, Astorino, or Cuomo, spoke about oversight in law enforcement. We had and it's our fault, and it's our fault. The same time in Washington D.C., right? You had the white politicians after Ferguson say, "Oh, we gotta demilitarize the police department because they're infringing on our rights." Now this is white folks. These are freedom fighters, right? So they get the bill, they get it in the House and the Senate, and guess who voted against it? The black ones. The Congressional Black Caucus. Only 7 out of 40 some odd voted to demilitarize the police department, to stop giving the police department all this leftover military gear. Even after Amnesty International condemned United States Police Department for violating people's human rights.
I can't understand for the life of me why people aren't totally alarmed that the police are in fact being given military equipment to use. It kind of seems rhetorical or strange to be talking about oversight and reforms when the police are becoming a military occupation. It sounds like almost ridiculous to me to even be considering a special this and a special that as far as investigators when the police are becoming more and more militarized right before our very eyes. The government has demonstrated what it would like the police department to become. And that is more of a military occupation who has the right to arrest you whenever, brutalize you, and they're justified in it. When police kill and murder innocent people, they have broken the law. So to me, when we sit and we try to figure out a new law to put on the books, or make reforms, or make amendment to laws, to me, it's a redundant process, because the police have already demonstrated a total disregard for law. Okay,
right.
The law is the strongest language that you can put on the books. Okay, but now, even after they demonstrate a total disregard for law, you sit and you discuss making reforms, or you sit and you discuss making amendments. It's rhetorical to me. And for one, I'm totally convinced that the only way that we're going to even begin to put a dent in this situation is that police have to be held accountable for the murders being committed. The officer who knows that he in fact will lose his job, go to jail, if not both, will curb and conduct his own behavior. He won't be so gully out there on the street to step up to somebody and just shoot them. And he won't let himself be led by his imagination that makes him think he saw a gun when it wasn't there, because now his ass is on the line. And I think that we really have to focus and demand that officials, the police commanders, the captains, the chiefs, right on up to the commissioner, take action against these officers who they know have violated the law. Okay, when a police officer murders somebody, it's not a secret. Okay, they do an investigation, but the investigation that they really do is in order to justify what they've done. They very rarely investigate to find wrongdoing. They investigate to find how they can show that they had justifiable cause to kill that person. Okay, so when you have an operation that functions like this, that habitually, co-signs on the murders of its officers, even promotes it, even creates a climate where officers literally compete against each other to be that big buck gully officer on the beat, you cannot rely on anything being resolved among them. Okay, you have to hold their head to the line. You have to not only take action against the officer who committed the murder, but his superiors over him. Okay, because an officer cannot get away with killing people at the rate that they have been doing across the United States without their superiors co-signing on it, backing, defending, and approval. And that's it. We have to stop playing games. We have been dealing with this issue down in the valley, so to speak, at the local precincts, out in the street in a march and a protest. But we really have to focus the attention up top, which is the government itself. We are experiencing here in the United States a trickle-down theory, okay? The murder and mayhem and abuse and false incarcerations that we're seeing on the ground is emanating from the top. You can draw a line and you can trace it right back up to the government itself. If you want to look at the thousands and thousands of black males wrongfully incarcerated underneath the law, then you need to look at the government, who has entered into contract deals with private industry to house them and pay them. Okay, so there's a reason why our black people are being incarcerated by the thousands. There's a reason why we're being shot and killed based on the imagination of having a gun. Okay, and it's nonsense for us to focus at it on this level, the ground level, when the bulk of it is coming from the top. That's right. In the action that I'm demanding, that's demanding national action against police brutality, I'm saying let's take it to the top. Let's go to the root cause. Let's go to where all of this trouble down below is coming from and deal with it there. That's okay, right. Because it's an insult to the intelligence, or it should be, to every person in the United States to have a government entitled the Department of Justice, and we can't get no justice. In order to get it, you got to hit the streets, you got to mark and beg and plead for it. You allow the authorities to send you on a runaround so you can prove to them what they already know they did to you. Enough of it. We got two cases going right here. Ferguson and Eric Garner. Both of them was killed. Outright murder. In Eric Garner's case, the murder was moved a homicide and ain't nobody charged yet. Blacks and Hispanics simply accused of a crime will be arrested within 72 hours. But here we have a murder of Eric Garner through use of an illegal chokehold. The murder is ruled a homicide, and the district attorneys, instead of prosecuting the case according to his responsibility, according to his obligation, dumped it off on on a grand jury. Okay, it's not a coincidence that he did that. It's not a coincidence that we see the same thing over in Ferguson, where they took that case, clear case of murder, and dumped it over on a grand jury. So there is a willingness to prosecute police for their murders committed, and we have to stop dancing along to the tunes that they're playing and playing the game and take it to the head. Call this government out in a national demand for action. Tell them to put up or shut up on his false claims of liberty and justice. This country is dysfunctionally broken economically because the wealth of the country has been stripped from the nation and put into wars overseas in the name of protecting their rights and civil liberties. People fighting those wars come back and they're broke. They're homeless. Can't even get medical coverage. So if you care so much about liberties and justice for all, why don't you see what's going on in your own backyard? That's what they have to do. We ought to be beyond ourselves, upset, disgusted, fed up, and call this government out and say enough is enough. Okay, how long are we going to allow them to put this BS in our ears, to tell us that it's raining when they're shitting on us? Excuse me for cursing. We have cases, 4 cases to date, where police have murdered individuals, handcuffed, in their custody, came back and told the public they did it their damn self. That's what they think about us. That's what they think about the action that we're going to take. They done got so arrogant and bold with it that they'll kill a man in their custody with the cuffs on and come back and tell you they did it.
Because that's the system working.
That's right.
That's the system working.
Where's the applause, man? Where's the applause?
That's the system working.
Where's the applause? Where's the applause? That's what I'm talking about. That's why she is on the show.
Thank God
and that's why I love this sister, because she bring the heat.
I love this lady.
Did I say something real quick, if I may?
Yeah, then we got another call.
Yeah, we got another call. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I agree with many things that Danette is saying, and this is why we do need to take it to the top, and we do need independent investigators. We do need independent prosecutors, because the police cannot police themselves. They're going to just sweep it under the rug, as Danette so eloquently said. You know, they're only investigating to find a way around it. But we do need the laws. We need these laws plainly and firmly written, as Danette said, to hold them accountable and establish a strong deterrent that they know will be enforced by independent organizations that do not answer to the other law enforcement agencies.
You know what, Frank, to be honest with you, I really hope that people raise up and tell them to hell with you and your special prosecutors and investigators. We want this shit changed, and we don't give a damn how you do it, but goddamn it, do it. You have lost trust, or you should have lost the trust of the people. Okay, people shouldn't even be positioning themselves to say we want a special this, a special that, because it implies that you still have confidence in their ability to do right by you, and they have demonstrated over and over that they are not going to do that. There's an agenda in play, and they fully intend on fulfilling that agenda, and we keep volunteering, playing in that game. I wish that people would say to hell with you and your special prosecutor, investigator, federal investigate this, investigate that. No, God damn it, take care of it now. We want justice, and we want it now. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but when you come back with it, the shit better be right. That's what I want us to get up and say.
There you go. Caller, say your name, where you from, caller.
Peace. This is Sugar Ray from Queensbridge.
What's up,
hey, Sugar Ray.
Peace, brother.
Peace. I just wanted to add on. Danette was saying, and the brother Frank. I think additionally, not only do we have to stand up, but I think a reason why a lot of this stuff happens is, again, because we have not claimed our nationality. And by their law that they go by, we are still slaves, right? We still have a birth certificate and social security card, so we're not free. And because we're not free, they still have ownership. They can kill my brothers and my sisters in the street, and nothing happens because we're still black, Negro, and colored. And I identify with being black myself, but I know we also have to have a nationality, and we don't have that, and so we still being abused, still being tortured, still being slaughtered in the fucking streets. And we need to get to that and understand that, and move past emotion, deal with logic, and get ourselves about the situation. And I don't think it's that difficult. Peace.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for calling.
Let me say, you know what? I think it's good to know your nationality and who you are, but white folks know exactly who you are, and that's the reason that they're doing what they're doing. So if you wanna get some more Afrocentricity or get some more blackness to you because it make you feel good about you, then do that. But don't deceive yourself into thinking that because now you got some nationality that white folks gonna back up off you. No, they know exactly who you are.
And what I really don't understand is that there have been no pushback from these black preachers. You know, I mean, you would think that black people would have been outraged in Westchester County that the DA's office said, "Oh, it's just okay for cops to call y'all niggas." Nobody said anything.
But you already addressed why not. Because she got them all in the
well, I'm not just talking about the preacher. I'm just talking about people in general.
Right.
People in general. It should have been thousands of black people standing in front of that courthouse saying, "You're okaying police officers to call us nigga?"
Yeah, but just to piggyback back on
yeah,
that,
but they know where they can get away with stuff like that, and unfortunately, Westchester County is somewhere where they can get away with that. Unfortunately.
But then when you have to go back to, so we're gonna go back to the love thing. When there's no love, that's exactly what you get. Nobody's coming out for nobody if they don't love them.
Right, that's
Nobody's
right.
coming out.
That's
so that's
right.
why a lot of times when there's events, it's the same people because it's that same kind of love that's going on. So now we need to go out there to the community and we need to start spreading the love a little bit more than what we're doing because that is the lack of what's going on right now.
Let me tell you something. There's more white people that turn out in Westchester County for police brutality issues than black people.
If the white people didn't
yes, that's right.
The white people didn't show up downtown,
that's right. When we went down, when we went down and stood in front of the U.S. Attorney's office to demand an investigation of the constant killing of black men, if the white people didn't show up, we wouldn't have had nobody.
Same thing. There was a whole lot of white people at the at Eric Garner's funeral outside. There was some Jewish people.
But the thing is Westchester black people don't. We don't show up to anything, and we always think just because it happened in White Plains or it happened in Mount Vernon, oh well, you know that's not my issue. It's a Mount Vernon issue. Oh, that's not my issue. It's a White Plains issue. Oh, that's just Yonkers. You know, but the last brother Smith that got killed in Mount Vernon, you know, I knew his father. When I saw his father at the forum, he said, "Man, you got big. I remember you when you was just a little boy." And I was amazed because when I saw him, I said, "I know this guy here." You know, so I mean, and then not to see black law enforcement really step up because we're connected. We cannot say we're not connected. You know, I'm not no ambulance chaser, but for some reason, when something happens to these people, I know them. And it's crazy. So we have to be out there fighting, you know, because people need to see that. But at the end of the day, go ahead, son.
I was going to say knowing that might be an indication of just how far spread it is.
That's right.
And how bad it's becoming. You know, to where you know somebody or you discover that you know somebody that either got murdered or beaten up by the police because it's, like I said, we're in a state of emergency concerning this. And a lot of us, I think, are still in denial as far as how bad it is. You know, I don't know, maybe the upper echelon, you know, upper class
the blue ribbon Negroes?
You know, the people that are not
blue ribbon ones.
Directly affected. It's like they hear it and say, oh, so sad, so sad. You know,
or they want to contact you when something go down in their family and want to tag you on Facebook about it.
Yeah, you know, and
can't hear you right now.
This situation is not going anywhere. You know, it's gonna get worse. You know, there's people. You know, the Ku Klux Klan just made an article, published it boldly, and stated, you know, if there are any black folks who we feel are being violent as a result of the Darren Wilson verdict, we intend to use lethal weapon against them. Okay, so I was wondering, like, So where's the politicians, the authorities, the elected officials that told all of those black folks in Ferguson when they was protesting, y'all calm down and be peaceful? Okay, everybody came out and said, be peaceful, stop rioting, stop this and this and that. But when you have a racist group, the Ku Klux Klan, who comes out and tells you that they intend to use violence against anybody they feel is being violent, and nobody says anything, I think that's a good indication of where we're at.
What are you talking about? Black rage has always been a fear. So when black people finally wake up, it's going to be on and popping.
No, it's not, because look.
There's too many lost.
They showed in Ferguson what they're going to do with black rage, with those tanks and those equipment that was banned from the Middle East. They already showed what they're going to do with black rage. We're going to knock black rage brains out. That's what they already showed that.
Did you see the picture? They said
Listen,
they have 1,000
wait, not even
officers.
that. Not even that.
Really?
1,000 officers
For the verdict?
Ready, yes.
Yeah, but you gotta
This for
see.
tomorrow.
Look,
What time they get ready? What time this gonna go
They
down?
don't know when it's coming in.
they're always prepared for black rage. When Khalid Muhammad had the Million Youth Movement, they shut the subway down in Harlem. They had police and riot gear sitting in the subways waiting.
Yes.
They're always prepared for black rage. Let's not get it twisted. They're prepared to knock our heads out. What happened to the black cop that went crazy, started killing them all? They were prepared for black. They were starting shooting everybody that was in a Honda. Poor Chinese ladies was just minding their business, and they got shot up because they was driving the same car they said he was driving.
So Cynthia, any last word real quick? We got a minute and a half.
I tried.
Black rage.
I tried, and then
Ain't no black rage.
Okay. First of all, black
These niggas trying to get their
black
weave done. Ain't no black rage.
You could be doing anything else right now, but you decided to listen to us, and we greatly appreciate this. We'd like to thank all our guests who came in, and this show was definitely evident. This is why we started People Before Politics, to have these kind of conversations, to create this kind of dialogue. You can see everything we do on blackwestchester.com. We thank you. We'll see you next week. Until then, peace.